The House's DOGE subcommittee created some worthwhile taxpayer-funded content today, unlike NPR and PBS, because they had the CEOs of PBS and NPR in the spotlight over their leftist political views. Joining us now is a member of the committee, Congressman Tim Burchett, who represents the 2nd Congressional District of Tennessee. Congressman, welcome back to the program. Great to see you.
Great seeing you, Tony. Thank you so much for having me on, brother.
All right, you put a spotlight on the CEOs of NPR and PBS today. You asked some very pointed questions. What were your takeaways?
They got their hands caught in the cookie jar, and I hope America has some guts to follow through with this. I mean, I hope Congress does. America does. You know, Congress, we are elected with about 3 votes. We're one flu season away from being out of the majority. But dadgum President Trump was elected overwhelmingly, and I think we need to remember that, and we need to honor his the wishes of this country. I almost said this congregation, but this country. But the truth is that the DOGE stuff is written in pencil and it can be erased under the next president. And this is a perfect example. These people at NPR and PBS, they literally hate this country. They hate everything it's about. They hate our patriotism. They hate our Lord, and they don't hide it. Now they got caught. You know, I asked her about these horrible things she said about President Trump, and she says, well, she is sorry she said those. She wished she hadn't said them or something. You know, it's like you catch a robber in the parking lot of a bank, and they hand you the money back, and you say, oh, I'm sorry. And you go, oh, okay, that's okay. You know, this is your tax dollars that are paying for this. They have drag shows, and every time. And I asked them. I said, my first question literally was about. I was listening to their miserable radio show one time not long ago, and they asked a lady what their definition of propaganda was, and she said, "God Bless the USA" by Lee Greenwood. And then I asked her about that, and she said, well, that was one of the guests or one of the hosts' opinion, you know. And can you imagine if somebody had gone on there and said something overtly racist or just something just gross? They would immediately have come on and cut that out, and they would have said, hey, we are so sorry. That is not our intention, blah, blah, blah. But because they attacked something of traditional values that we hold near and dear to our heart, they are allowed to say that garbage, and our tax dollars are paying for it. Now, they can say all the garbage they want as long as I don't have a dollar, as American taxpayer doesn't have a dollar invested.
I think that's the issue.
We're helping them.
That's the issue. As you put the question to the CEO of NPR, Mar, you asked her about her statements, her tweets in 2020, calling Trump a racist, a psychopath, or whatever it was she called him. And she said, well, I shouldn't have put that out. Well, no, not now that he's president and that he has influence over your budget. But they can say.
Do you think she'd have said if Joe Biden was in office, Joe Biden is one step away from a hospital room for folks that are mentally infirm? I mean, that's. What if she'd have said that? I guarantee she wouldn't have said that. And so it's the same deal. Look, this place is so left, and they are so out of control, and Congress better get some guts, dadgummit, and start codifying this stuff and getting it into, because all they're doing is tying it up in the courts, and we have no mechanism in the House or the Senate that's honoring this country's wishes, and we need it, and we need it immediately.
Congressman Burchett, I thought it was very interesting. You asked the panel, including Mar, if they felt like Newsmax, American Voices. Now, I was a little disappointed you didn't put Washington Watch on that list. Should receive federal funds, and none of them said, "Oh yeah, they should be right up there next to us competing."
Yeah, they said no. They can you imagine if you all got a well, you wouldn't want it.
I wouldn't want it.
You don't want those idiots telling you what to do. I mean, if it was our idiots, it'd be okay. But when they're idiots, you're back in control. And if we're not careful, we're fixing to hand it right back to them. Look, Tony, we got our work cut out. These post offices are not going to name themselves. I realize we've got valiant work to do in that department. But dadgummit, let's start moving this stuff through committees. Let's quit The sewer up here is the committees. You've got these staffers. You got 40 or 50 staffers that staff big committees on one side of the aisle, and then you have 40 or 50 on the other. I mean, you don't think there's corruption there? You don't think there's unethical behavior? How many times have I heard a chairman say, "Oh, I can't do that because my staff would kill me"?
Right.
Who cares what your staff thinks?
Yeah.
They're not elected.
Exactly. So we just have 2 minutes left, Congressman. Can and will Congress defund NPR and PBS?
I doubt it. I hope they prove me wrong, but somebody's going to come up with some line. We'll have 2 or 3 defectors, or they'll purposefully be absent, and the Democrats will stick together because this is their taxpayer-paid.
Well, it's their honeypot. I mean, this is where they get their message out. Let me give it this real quick. Folks, what do you think? Should tax dollars be used to fund NPR or PBS? I'd like to know what you think. And in fact, I'll send this to Tim, and he can use it with his colleagues. Text POLL, P-O-L-L, to 67742. That's POLL to 67742. I'll send you a link. Take the poll. Let us know what you think. Should NPR and PBS receive funds? I mean, there's no question, Tim. You asked, I think it was you asked the question of whether or not they had evaluated their content to see if it was balanced.
Yeah. And of course, they said it has. And then Jim Jordan, so eloquently, as he always does, he gutted them. He said that, you have 83 members that are on your staff, and every one of them are registered Democrats. 83. There wasn't 3 Republicans, and the guy who called it out, he got fired. So, if you want to talk First Amendment, let's talk First Amendment.
Yeah.
But this thing it's out of control, Tony. Call your congressmen, call your senators, say, I don't need any more hearings. I want that bill on the floor. I want President Trump signing it. I don't want to see it in the courts anymore. Let's take it out of the court's hands. God gave us an incredible gift in this country. And look, I don't want Donald Trump teaching my daughter's Sunday school class, but dadgum, I love him. I want him as my president.
Yeah.
He is right. Let's defund this stuff right now.
Absolutely. Congressman, thanks for joining us. We'll see you later.